Choosing a career can be a very difficult decision. It takes a lot of hard work, perseverance, and determination to get to where you want to be in life. You want to choose a path that is right for you based on your interests and skills. Take a look at these careers of DeWinsburg community members. Maybe you'll find one that is perfect for you.
Hey guys, my name is Julie Lind. I have two kids in the district. Nathaniel is in 8th grade and Anna's in 6th grade. I have my master's degree in social work and I am a licensed clinical social worker. I've done one of these videos for Mr. Preston in the past and I focus on my role as a full-time professor at Fulton Montgomery Community College. But I thought I could offer another video. I have a part-time job and that job uses my license. So like I said before, I am a licensed clinical social worker, which means that I am licensed to be able to provide mental health counseling to children and families and adults. My career has mostly focused on child welfare. I worked for 12 years actually at Northeast Parent and Child Society, and that's the agency that I'm working for again. So I'm in a part-time capacity, and what I do is I provide clinical supervision for counselors that are working with kids and families. I do it all remotely, so I do it through Microsoft Teams, which is what I'm recording this video with, and I meet with the clinicians that I supervise every week or every other week, sometimes individually and sometimes as a group. And clinical supervision is meant to provide support and clinical insight to people that are getting their license. And part of what you need to do when you're getting your license in New York State is you need to be supervised by someone that already has their license. And for social workers, that's over the course of 3 years. And for mental health counselors that I also supervise, they need to do that over the course of 2 years. So, like I said, I meet with them. Sometimes they talk to me about their clinical cases and what's going on with the kids they're working with, and I offer them suggestions and ideas. But most of the time, what we do is we talk about how things are going for them. And we talk about how they're practicing good self-care and, just making sure that they're thinking about their own needs as well as the needs of their clients. You can imagine when you're working with kids and providing mental health counseling, you find out a lot of really difficult things that have gone on in kids' lives. And sometimes it's hard to hear. And sometimes it's nice to have someone that's checking in on you and making sure that you're doing okay. So that's what I'm able to do for these staff, and I love it. I am so fortunate to be able to be a little piece of the good work that they're doing with kids and families in our community. So it's a really nice way for me to stay involved while I still have my teaching job and I'm training new people to come up and be future mental health providers. I also have the opportunity to work with people that are actually out there right now providing mental health therapy. And that's one of the neat things about once you figure out your career is you can help kids if that's what you want to do, and you can help them in a lot of different ways and at a lot of different levels. And that's one thing I love about social work. It's just like you can't get bored. There's always something new. There's always a different way to help people. So I hope that helps you a little bit about another career. That's another opportunity of something that you can do. And, I look forward to seeing some of you around the community at games or at concerts. Take care. Have a great summer.
Hi, my name is Brendan Walsh. I'm Quinn, Tommy, and Michael's dad. I'm a financial planner at Atlas Private Wealth Management in Albany. And financial planning is essentially managing your income and expenses in a way that helps you realize your goals. So income can be the income you receive for working a job, and expenses could be the bills that you pay for things like a cell phone or a car payment or a house payment. So I help my clients kind of manage their income and expenses and realize their goals. Some of the common goals that my clients have are things like buying a house or a car or buying a boat or saving for their kids or grandkids' college educations. One way we do that is help create a plan for our clients. so that they know how much they need to save to realize their goals and achieve their goals. The other way is I help by investing their assets so that they put money into a bank account and it grows over time, and again helps them pay for whatever it is that they want to spend their money on later on in life. I also prepare income tax returns for my clients, which is essentially making sure that they pay the right amount of taxes to the IRS in New York State. We do tax planning to make sure that they can maybe save money and not pay as much in taxes to the IRS in New York State. My typical day is I'm in early. I like to get into the office early so that I can leave a little bit earlier and do some of the things I like to do with my family in the evening. So generally work 9 or 10 hours a day, sometimes more during tax season. And I like to get in early partly just so I can get some things done before clients start calling in or emailing in. The job of being a financial planner requires a college degree, so you graduate high school and go on to college and get your 4-year degree. I actually went and got a master's degree to help me realize my goal of being the best financial planner I could be and learn more. I would say if you like numbers and helping people, you might be interested in being a financial planner. I would say that the most common characteristic for a financial planner is liking to interact with people, especially listening to people and what their goals are and what their priorities are. So I like to talk to people and listen to them. They know about my family and me, and I know a lot about my clients' families and them. So it's nice to talk to people. I'd say that's the biggest thing that I like about my job. So again, if you like numbers and math and helping people, financial planning might be the career for you. All right, thanks everyone.
Hello everybody, I'm Dr. Niedermeyer and I'm the Superintendent of Schools here. I'm so happy to be at your virtual career day. I didn't always want to be a superintendent of schools. What I really wanted to do was just be an educator. I wanted to teach kids. One of the reasons I wanted to teach kids is because kids are so honest with you. They always tell you the truth. And also, they have a lot of fun, and I like to be around people that are having fun. You do need a lot of education to be an education, including going to college for a really long time. I went to college for 12 years after I graduated high school to become a superintendent of schools. I love my job every day because I like seeing you guys play on the playground and do things in school, and I like knowing that I had a hand in making sure that all those things are happening. So I really think that education's a good career, and I would recommend it to anybody who wants to do something that makes a difference, is meaningful, and is really, really fun. Have a great day.
Hi, my name is Jolene Mensing. My son Gavin is in 3rd grade and my son Bryce is in 7th. I'm a physical education teacher at Middleburg Elementary School, and this is my 22nd year. What I like about teaching is watching my students grow into responsible, respectful, and safe young adults. Students also learn sportsmanship, being a good winner and a good loser, teamwork, how to be part of a team, what my responsibilities are with that, and of course, developing their own individual skills and learning many new activities. It's a super fun and rewarding job. Learning about how to keep your bodies healthy and staying active is my #1 goal. I went to college at SUNY Delhi for 1 year and then transferred into SUNY Cortland for the other 3. I began teaching here at Middleburg right after graduation. I got my master's at St. Rose in reading. Being a PE teacher and a coach has been the highlight of my life. The best part of it is I can be a kid all day, every day. Hope you choose a career that you love just as much as I do.
Hello, my name is Don Evans, and I am a dentist in Duanesburg, New York. And I would like to speak to you today about what a dentist does, how to become a dentist, and what skills are required in the dental profession. So to start out, a dentist is a doctor that specializes in teeth and mouths in general. As a doctor, it is a profession that requires a lot of schooling. So to give you an example, I went to college for 4 years after high school. Then after college, I went to dental school for 4 years. After dental school, I trained in a hospital to prepare me to be able to have a practice of my own. What do I do on a regular basis? Well, any of the problems that I see with the mouth and with teeth, I help people by fixing them. That might be a broken tooth, teeth with cavities in them, or maybe some missing teeth, or teeth that maybe aren't straight, and I can help straighten teeth, to all in the intent to give someone a smile that they're proud of. That's one of the things that drew me to dentistry, is the ability to take a patient who doesn't smile so much, who maybe isn't proud of their smile, and to help that person to smile, to be proud of their smile, and when they meet someone, to be able to feel confident in smiling at them, and ultimately that makes patients happier. It makes me happy to see them smile, and that's what keeps me going every day, is the smiles that I'm able to help create. Some of the skills that go into dentistry, a love of working with your hands. It is a very technical, specific profession that requires the use of your hands. A love of science and math, and art as well. It takes a lot of art to make a tooth look natural, look like it wasn't even fixed, look like it was supposed to look that way. We have many tools in the office that we use to help us fix patients' smile. Behind me, I have a digital scan that I took of a patient that I can use to fix this patient's teeth. If the patient chipped a tooth, I can help to replace the missing part. We can help to straighten teeth with the digital model. We use lasers in dental surgery to shape the gum tissue, to shape the pink part around our teeth. And one of the very big aspects of dentistry is a love of working with people. I love to talk to my patients. I love to learn about my patients. I love to joke with my patients and do magic tricks for my patients, and make balloon animals. We have a lot of fun here, and I think that patients see that, and it is a profession that requires somebody who is prepared to speak to people on a regular basis, and to love interacting with people. Dentistry is an awesome profession. I highly recommend it for someone who has those skills and a mindset in that direction. It is wonderful program, wonderful profession, and I thank you for giving me your time to talk to you about dentistry today. Thank you, and have a great day.
Good morning, friends at Dwaynesburg Elementary School. My name is Dr. Melissa Them Peterson, and I am a clinical psychologist. What is a psychologist? Well, a psychologist can be a lot of things, actually, but the kind of psychologist I am is called a cognitive behavioral psychologist. And what that means is that I work with people to understand how they think, their cognitions, what they do, their behavior, sometimes what they don't do, like if they avoid things that make them uncomfortable, and how all that relates to how they feel. I work mostly with children and teenagers, and so some of the kids I work with say I'm the feelings doctor. I help them to figure out how they're feeling and why they're feeling that way, and give them some tools to help them feel better. I have what is called a Doctor of Philosophy degree. So that is a PhD, and it takes about 5 years after you go to college to get your PhD in psychology. So I finished up when I was in my late 20s, and I started working. And there are lots of things that you can do as a psychologist. I do direct service. That means that I meet with people every day, and I work with them individually, or I work with their families, and we try to figure out what's going on and why they're feeling the way that they're feeling, and we try to help them feel better. But you can do a lot of things as a psychologist. You can be a consultant to maybe a company or a hospital. You could be a professor and teach psychology to students. There are lots and lots of things you can do with a doctorate in psychology. I think probably some of the most helpful characteristics, if you want to be a psychologist in direct service, are things like compassion. You need to care about other people and how they're feeling and what's going on for them. And empathy. That means I feel with you. When you're feeling something, I feel it too, because that helps psychologists understand what people are going through. But we also have to be able to stay separate and think clearly, because when people come to talk to us and they're not feeling well, they're often not thinking very clearly. So you have to be level-headed and you have to be a clear thinker. And it does take a long time to get through school, so you have to be diligent. But it's so worth it, so worth it. I think probably my favorite thing about being a clinical psychologist, especially because I work with kids, is that after a little while, if they participate well and we practice and practice the things that they can do to feel better, they feel better. And the things that we learn to help them with their behavior and with their thoughts, they can do that for the rest of their lives. And those are skills that they will never forget. So when I am done working with someone, I feel sad because I don't get to see them anymore, but I feel so proud and so happy because they're feeling better. And that's the whole idea behind being a psychologist. I hope you guys have a great career day learning about everyone's different professions. And I'm sure I will be seeing you around school. Have a good day.
My name is Miles Peterson, and I wanted to spend a few minutes with you talking about careers, what you want to do, or give you some ideas about what I do and why I think I have the greatest job in the world. But everybody's a little bit different. You got to figure out, hey, what do you think works best for you? So my background is I'm an engineer. I went to school for engineering, and I also went to school for chemistry. And it turns out that engineering and chemistry are all interrelated. And I work for a chemical company, SI Group, and in that chemical company, we make a lot of the products that you use every day, but you don't realize it. Tires on your car. We help provide materials that go into the rubber on the tires in your car. Different types of plastics that are used in your car bumper. Pharmaceutical, such as ibuprofen that you use if you've got inflammation or if you've got pain. And different types of resins that you use for electrical insulators, and a whole host of things that, again, you use every day, but you don't realize that it's chemistry in action. So from an education background, I told you that I went to school for both engineering and chemistry. On the engineering side, on a day-to-day basis, I use a lot of math, a lot of physics. I use a lot of design, thinking about how to solve problems, and I use some of those engineering principles to help us get to the best solution. I do a lot of math as it looks and as I think about different costs, just like you would do at home. How much does this cost versus how much does that cost? And I look at what do I think the best solution might be. I do a lot when I think about not only physics, I think about math. On the chemistry side, we think about the reactions that we're trying to have happen, but also the unintended reactions, the reactions that happen where, oops, you didn't think that was going to happen. And I do that to try to make sure that our plants operate safely and all of our employees get to go home to see their kids every day. That's really important to me, to make sure that when you come into work, you leave in the same condition. And that's a big part of my job. So although I went to school for engineering and chemistry, and I do a lot of chemistry and a lot of engineering and physics and math every day, it's all about making sure that our employees, the moms and dads that are out there, that they get to go home safely to their kids every day, and to make sure that our plants run safely, that we have no accidents, no releases. And that's a bit about what I do every day. If you've got questions or you want to know more about chemistry and engineering and how you can use it in the real world, please let me know. I'd be happy to help. Have a great day. Thanks.
Hello, DCS students. My name is Mara Burns, and my daughter Anna is in 4th grade, and my son Evan is in 7th grade at DCS. Today I want to talk to you about my career, which is in the field of information technology, or IT, specifically computer science. I am a software developer. I work for the New York State Thruway Authority, and we support the Toll Highway, the thruway that runs for over 500 miles from Buffalo to Albany and south to New York City. I bet most of you have traveled the thruway, and probably quite often. So what does a software developer do? We write programs using code. A program, or software, is simply a set of instructions that tell the computer what to do. Code are those instructions, and we write code in various languages, which is how we speak to the computer. At first, if you were to look at one of my programs, it might look very foreign to you. There are a lot of numbers, letters, and mathematical symbols. But just like learning a new language like French or Spanish, you learn as you go. It doesn't take very long to catch on, and it's fun to experiment with what works and what doesn't. In my job, my focus is mainly on our payroll and human resources systems. I'm responsible for the computer systems that produce paychecks for our employees, which is really important. I'm also responsible for the systems that process our employees' benefits, like their health insurance and dental. I also support the computer systems that track training classes for our employees, and also things related to employee safety and health in the workplace. Part of my job is to make sure our programs are up to date, because laws and taxes are constantly changing and we need to keep up with those changes. If there are any errors or problems with our computer systems, the people who use the systems call me and I work with them to fix it. I also write new programs to help make tasks easier for our customers. One thing that I love about being a software developer is that there are endless options for areas that I can learn about and help with. For example, at the Thruway, we have software that monitors the temperatures along the roadway. This way, we know when a section of highway might be getting icy in the winter. That software can then alert the snowplow drivers so they can fill their trucks with salt and go out there as soon as possible to keep drivers safe. We even have software that tells us where each plow truck is and how much salt they use so that we know how much to order each year. Another big project that we worked on recently was all electronic toll collection or cashless tolling. We installed special cameras over the highway that read the E-ZPass tag on the car's windshield, or if the car doesn't have one, their license plate, and then charges the driver the appropriate toll or payment for using that section of the highway. All this happens at 65 miles per hour. The car doesn't even need to slow down. This technology is pretty amazing. So the next time you ride along the Thruway, look up and you'll see the cameras on big silver poles every so often. Remember that all these computer systems need developers who created them and who keep them running smoothly. There are endless possibilities to what you can do as a developer. A college professor once told me, a computer is only as smart as the developer who programs it. So how did I know that this was the career that I wanted? I knew that I wanted to be a developer when I was about 12 years old. My grandparents bought my first computer, and I would sit for hours each day writing programs that created simple games, played music, and changed the colors on the screen. I loved to solve puzzles, and I didn't mind spending a lot of time to figure them out. I loved the prize at the end, which to me was the satisfaction of finding the right answer. Figuring out an answer to a problem is what we call troubleshooting in my profession, and I love doing it. I also love to help people. One of my favorite parts of my job is when a customer comes to me with a problem or something that they are doing by hand but is going to take a really long time. And I get to say, I can help you with that. And I write a program to solve that problem for them or speed up their process by having the computer do the math. And that's because computers can process information much, much faster than the human brain. If you are interested in being a developer, you will want to find a college where you can major in computer science. That is the degree that I have. I got a job as soon as I finished college because developers are in high demand. Some other perks of my profession is that it's very flexible. I can work from pretty much wherever I am as long as I have my computer. I've even worked from the beach before. The pay is also very good too, which is always a bonus. And it's really important to get good grades, so remember to always do your best in school. If all of this sounds interesting to you, you can try writing some code yourself. No college degree needed. There are workbooks that you can buy that walk you through examples of programs that you can create on your PC, laptop, or tablet at home. This is one of those examples. This workbook uses Scratch. Scratch is one example of a programming language. It's pretty popular. It was created by a group of students at MIT, a college in Massachusetts. It's a great language to start out with because it's very close to the English language in that it makes sense when reading and writing it. You can also go to the website code.org. This is the website that you go to in order to participate in the Hour of Code. And I think some of you have participated in that here at DCS, which is awesome. But you can go to this website anytime from home to learn about coding and write your own programs and games. So please check it out. So I hope this helps you to understand what it's like to be a software developer. Thanks for listening and happy coding.
Hi, my name is Eric and I'm a material scientist. A material scientist is someone who works to discover new materials and understand why materials behave the way they do. With that understanding, we also help select existing materials for new applications. To do this, we need to understand what a material is made of, how it is produced, how to make that material into a useful object, and why it behaves the way it does under different conditions. An example you might be familiar with is a lot of cars are made out of steel. Steel has a variety of beneficial properties. It's strong and tough, easy to make into different shapes, and relatively inexpensive. One of the downsides you may also know of is that steel will rust over time when exposed to the environment. Material science can help understand why certain steels rust and what happens to their properties as they do. We can help design new steels or perhaps a protective coating for one to stop it from rusting. When we do this, we have to consider many factors such as cost, weight, and availability of the materials we want to use. I mostly work in an area called materials characterization. I work to understand what makes up materials, what their structure is at a microscopic and even atomic level, and why they behave the way they do. For steel, we might study how the atomic makeup and microstructure change as the steel rusts. What I like most about my job is helping other material scientists and engineers solve problems and answer questions, such as why my steel rusts, why is my plastic discoloring when I heat it, or why my jet engine part is not lasting as long as it should. One of the many things that drives me to do this is curiosity about how and why things do what they do. When I was a kid, my father built custom boats out of high-tech composite materials, and I found it fascinating how they could design and build something so large that was so strong yet was so light in weight. The curiosity about this is what got me interested in engineering and ultimately into material science. Curiosity and problem solving are two important skills material scientists have to have. Also, for my work, it's important to enjoy working with computers as well as instrumentation and other equipment. The people I work with come from a variety of educational backgrounds and all play an important role in getting the work done. Typically, people in this field have at least a 2-year college degree, but more commonly have a 4-year college degree in some field of engineering. Where I work, there's also a lot of people who have graduate degrees, both masters and doctorates. Material science and engineering is a great field because everything we use every day is made of materials and performs the way it does because of those materials. The field allows you to work in anything from TVs to toilets to jet engines. I hope you'll consider material scientists as a possible field for your future employment.
Hi there, my name is Jennifer Sexton and I am an occupational therapist. I currently work with infants and toddlers and preschoolers. But part of my training is to work with everyone from 0 to over 100. And I have actually worked with somebody over 100 years old. So it's fun that you get to work with people of all ages and in many, many different environments. So OTs, so again, occupational therapists, we work with individuals to help them make sure that they can do what is required of them every day with the bodies that they've been given. So that further means that I help people make sure that they can do those tasks. So if they come to me with any kind of limitations, I help them heal or improve those limitations, or I modify their environments and change what they have so they can participate. So one example is, currently I work with newborns and infants and toddlers and preschoolers. So I might have a little one who hasn't been able to eat on their own. So I teach them how to use special cups and spoons and sometimes bottles so they can drink and eat just like everybody else their age. And then I have some preschoolers I work with that don't know how to hold a pencil or a pen or use their scissors. And so I help them get their fingers strong so they can do these skills so they'll be ready for school. And then when it comes to adults, I've worked with people that have spinal cord injuries, and that's when they're not able to use their arms or sometimes their arms and their legs due to an injury to their spinal cord. And I'll show them how to use their wheelchair. I'll show them how they can get around their house and be able to cook for themselves and get dressed and take care of their hygiene from their wheelchair. I've even worked with something called a centenarian. That's somebody that's 100 years old, and he was 101 years old, and it was my job to make sure he could go home and live alone safely. And he even had an exercise gym in his basement, so I had to make sure he could safely get up and down the stairs and use all of his exercise equipment. You do lots of technology things outside of using wheelchairs. I've worked with a lady who was a writer for the Washington Post, and she had to finish an article using her keyboard, and her multiple sclerosis, which is a disease of the nervous system, had advanced so much that she needed to use a modified keyboard that I helped her with and special tools so she could type out her story. So there's lots of different areas that you can work in occupational therapy. And how did I learn that I like occupational therapy? My favorite classes in elementary school were sciences and art. I loved art class, and I loved being creative and building things. And it was really nice that I was able to do this and combine both the arts and the sciences of medicine all into one field. You will be required to go to college. Right now it's a master's degree, and it may be a doctorate degree by the time you get there, but it's a very fun, fulfilling field, and I love being able to help all of those that I work with. Thank you. Good luck.
Hi, my name is Deanna Fox, and I'm a journalist. I live in Duanesburg. I'm a freelance journalist, which means that I don't write for any one particular news source. I write for lots of news sources all over the world. And I've been able to travel everywhere from deep in the Middle East to, a lot of stories here in the capital region, and all over the United States to understand culture and history and food and the people that create all of those things. So I'm technically a freelance food and agriculture journalist. That's what I focus on. I use food as the lens for which to tell stories of the world. And it's great. So really quick description. I'm sure most of you know what a journalist does. They're somebody who compiles news and data and storytelling for a media outlet. That could be a newspaper, a radio station, a TV station. Most of my work is in a print format for newspapers and magazines and for the web. But I also do a lot of radio work, and I also do production for documentaries. So that's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool job. So what I enjoy most about my job is that I get to kind of play into my insatiable curiosity. I'm never bored by my job. Sometimes I get very burnt out because it's a lot of long hours, it's a lot of hustle, it's a lot of deadlines, it's a lot of calling people to get information, traveling to get information. It's definitely a grind, but the end product is worth it because I learn so much. I get to experience so much of the world, and it helps me understand my place in the world too. I really feel like my ability to parlay information and tell other people's stories in a way that's relatable is really soul fulfilling work. So that's why I do it. And that's probably what I enjoy most about my job. The hours are very long. And even though I'm self-employed, technically, I don't always feel like I make my own hours because I'm always on deadline. But you can work around that, and you can plan ahead, and you can kind of have more flexibility in your schedule. I was first interested in this job. I didn't go to school for journalism. I went to school for history and political science. I have my undergrad and graduate degree in those fields. And it just was an opportunity. Writing became an opportunity to kind of further that. And I've always been involved with food. I worked in restaurants for a long time, both waitressing and also working in the kitchen. So that kind of helped me link history and politics and food and journalism all together. So once I realized I could take all of my interests and kind of merge them into one interesting career, which happened to be freelance food and agriculture journalism, I kind of created my own job. So that was pretty cool. You don't have to go to school for journalism to be a journalist, although it does help. So if you're interested in maybe writing, journalism, news production as a career, definitely take some communications and journalism courses if that's not your major, but also expand into other things too. Take an economics class, history, political science, sociology, American studies. There's so many different things you can take that will help give you context in which to understand the stories that you're trying to tell. And then characteristics that make me good at my job or make my job easier for me. Being able to work on deadline is critical. If you can't work on deadline, this job will never work for you. Being able to open up and talk with people and go into situations that are very unfamiliar and get people to talk to you, be warm and empathetic and understanding, I think is really important. Being somebody that seems trustworthy, you can kind of fake it till you make it if you need to. That's also really important, just to get people to talk to you. And being able to multitask. I'm always doing multiple things at once, working on multiple stories at once, listening to somebody while I'm taking notes. You have to be able to multitask and just work really efficiently, really quickly, and just generate a lot of ideas. Your brain is always on. You have to be thinking. If you're a creative person who's also just really interested in the world around you, journalism might be for you. So that's my take on journalism. If you have any questions, I'm also self-employed because I'm freelance, so I do all of my own bookkeeping and taxes and book all of my own work. So if you have questions on journalism or food or being self-employed, you can reach out to me, you can email me, and I would be more than happy to take any of those questions. So thank you so much, and think about journalism.
My career as a software engineer, software developer, programmer, computer scientist, all those things, all kind of the same title. I essentially sit at a computer and build software. And software is used in everything that we do. Computers, phones, video games, virtual reality. My house I can control with software, the lights, banks, you name it. Software is eating the world. Software's everywhere. What I do is I think about a problem, think about what someone wants to do, and break it down into smaller steps, and break that down into smaller steps, and talk to other people on my team, and break that down into smaller steps, and then eventually write lines of code. It's language that the computer understands, to help it move, to help the computer do what it needs to do. I enjoy that breaking down, that problem solving process. If you like solving problems, it's all this is. Everything is sort of, we want the computer to do X. Okay, what does that mean? How do we do that? I first became interested in it because of video games. I had a Nintendo. I had a Commodore 64. I had all these little video games. I want to know, how do they work? How do they play? I want to play video games for my life. And that wasn't really a thing then. So I wanted to go learn how to make video games. So I did well in math, and I did well in science, and I went to college for it, and for computer science, and learned that I wasn't as good as math as I needed to be to really do video games. But there's still plenty of work to do, and that's okay, because I still enjoy playing video games. I don't need to make them. And that's really what's awesome about it is, it's just all about problem solving. Depending on where you're applying, the education requirements are just the skills to do the work. And for the most part, a college degree, a bachelor's degree in computer science, information technology, whatever, that will absolutely help. But there's nothing stopping any of you from going and learning how to program, how to work with computers, and honestly, you all should. And it doesn't matter what you're interested in, art or music or anything, having that knowledge and computer programming will make your life easier. We'll make it so that things, because computers are everywhere, they're going to make it so that you are more able to connect with these new things in our lives and understand them better and work with them. And that's super vital. It's really just all about problem solving. I'm just doing problem solving in teeny tiny bits. And I recommend that for anybody who's got that kind of analytical mind that wants to take.
Hello, Dwaynesburg Elementary. My name is Nancy Paludi, and I am here to talk about what I do as my career. I am currently a Marketing and Communications Associate at the Albany Academy, which is a preschool all the way through 12th grade school here in Albany, and I do a lot of different things here at the school. One of the big things that I do is I oversee our website, which I did have up over here. I take pictures for our website, I create different graphics for our website. I don't know if you can really see that, but so I'm always managing and working and updating our website so that when people want to learn about our school, they can go to our website and navigate through and find out all sorts of information. I also manage our social media accounts. We have a Facebook page and an Instagram page that I create different artwork for and take pictures for and just post things to let people know different things about our school or information that they might need to know. We also have a lot of events and different things happening here on campus. So I create invitations. This is an event that happened not too long ago where I created the actual logo for the event and then the invitation to invite people to the event, let them know the date and all the information that they need to know about the event. And we have another big event coming up in the fall in October. So I not only designed the whole postcard, but I also laid out this picture in the background. I took a picture of it to use on the postcard. And of course, there's the back. So I create postcards and invitations, anything that might be happening on campus. We also do some fundraising on campus to fund some different things happening at our school, and this is one of the things that I designed a postcard to let people know about a fundraiser. So the logo was created, of course the pictures were put together, and the overall design of the postcard. We also have a summer camp here at Albany Academy, so I designed things like a postcard that would go out to different families in our community to let them know about our summer camp and what the different camps are. I create flyers that can be hung around maybe at a library or in a coffee shop to let people know about our different summer camps that are going on. There's another flyer. We also have our admissions department here at school that help people learn more about our school if they would like their students or their children to come here at school. So we have brochures that need to be designed to give people information and let them know a little bit more about our school. Here's another brochure for more of the elementary level. And there's also flyers for that as well. Sometimes our admissions department puts out flyers in the community, different places. We also put out holiday cards and season's greetings. So this is a holiday card that we put out. We sent out to different people in our community, and you can see the actual graphic, the word hope, that has pictures in it. So that needed to be created. You can see we use a lot of pictures. So sometimes they're pictures I take, sometimes they're pictures that we have a photographer take, depending. We have different campaigns that might be happening on campus. So sometimes we need a logo to catch people's eye for the campaign. So that was a logo we used probably 2 years ago. I also create magazines for our school here. So I will show you a magazine. I gathered up some students and took this picture to use on the cover of the magazine. And here's another magazine that I used a student for. The neat thing about magazines and graphic design is you often need to design how pictures work with your text. So you might lay out pictures like that, but you also might have text, and how do you work the pictures around the text? So there's a lot of different interesting aspects to it. Sometimes you design a cover and you don't use a picture at all. So as you can see, there's a ton of different things I do here at the Albany Academies. I love to design. What got me here was college. I went to college and received my Bachelor of Fine Arts degree. Basically, I studied graphic design and photography in college. I happen to love photography and always wanted to incorporate that in my design. You don't have to have a love for photography. You could just concentrate in graphic design, or maybe you're really good at illustrations and drawings, and then that's something that you concentrate on. I also like to work at a school. So with graphic design, you can work at a school, like a private school or a college. You could work in a hospital. Sometimes they have graphic designers. They need people to man their websites and website development. You could work in an ad agency designing ads, a magazine, that's also graphic design. You might be really interested in logo design, or maybe even menu design. So there's so many different avenues that you could do with graphic design, and throughout your whole career you could change. You don't always have to work at a school doing design. You could then decide you want to go to a graphic design agency. There's just a ton of different things that you can do. So I hope that gave you a little bit of a glimpse of what I do here at the Albany Academies, and what I do as a graphic designer and as a photographer. And if you have any questions, you can always have Mr. Presson reach out to me, and I would be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. Good luck in learning about all the different careers, and I hope you have a great summer.
Hi Dwaynesburg, my name is Jimmy Burns. I am Anna and Evan's father, and I'm excited to talk to you about my career today. It's definitely taken some twists and turns. So I started out as your age. My dad was interested in cars and racing and motorsports, so I kind of followed that path as well. I got the opportunity to do a lot of racing when I was a kid, and I kind of followed that after I graduated high school as well. I initially went and did a 2-year associate's degree and went right to work driving race cars, and actually was able to race professionally. We raced some sprint cars throughout the years. And I also was teaching people how to drive NASCAR cars up at Pocono Raceway, and that's how I met my wife, Mara. So as that progressed, we were able to get sponsorship and actually started our own professional race team, and we raced in the Pro Cup Series. So had a really good opportunity, represented our sponsor, Jackaroo Barbecue Sauces at the time, and had a team we had a lot of fun together and a lot of great times. But I realized that racing and the monetary side of racing would be limiting for a career. So I decided to go back to school and work on my mechanical engineering degree. So I graduated with a mechanical engineering degree and went to work for a NASCAR team. And I was a test engineer on that NASCAR team. It's actually now Tony Stewart's team, if you follow NASCAR. And I was basically involved with testing all the dynamic systems of the race car. We went to the racetrack, outfitted the car with a bunch of different sensors to gather data that we could come back to the shop, go through that data, analyze it, and actually build the race car differently so it would go faster. Also went to the wind tunnel where we blew a bunch of air over top of the car to measure the drag and the downforce on the race car. All of that was in trying to make maximum performance and go as fast as you can around the racetrack. So learned a lot as a test engineer, and then my wife and I, we moved up to New York, and I went to work for Naval Nuclear Laboratory, which is where I work today. I am an engineering manager in the Welding and Materials Engineering Unit at Naval Nuclear Laboratory. I'm located at the Knowles Atomic Power Laboratory in Niskayuna. So what do we do there? So we support the nuclear reactors that power the submarines and aircraft carriers for our Navy. So it's a very important job. Some of our work is confidential, which means my family can't come to work and visit me because there's information and materials and things that we do that we can't share with everybody. So that's a downer. But I'm very proud of what we do. We support the Navy. Our sailors go out on missions for 6 months at a time, and they never have to worry about the performance or the safety of the nuclear reactor that is providing the power for them to go forward and also power all the systems in the submarine and aircraft carriers. So in the materials and welding area, we look at developing new materials and testing them and trying to find better and new solutions so that our plants, our nuclear reactor plant, will last longer and have better performance. So testing, what do I mean by that? We have the opportunity to take materials. We actually can make our own materials and make mechanical test specimens, and we go and we pull them apart and we crack them and we break them in all different ways and to measure their mechanical properties, their cracking resistance, their corrosion resistance. Some of these items go out into the seawater, which is very corrosive. So we need to make sure that these materials are tested before we go and then put them into our components. So it's very rewarding. What do I like best about my job? I think it's the problem solving. Being an engineer, I work with mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, nuclear, chemical, and a lot of my unit is materials engineers. Engineers like to solve problems. They like to get their hands dirty sometimes. As a kid, I always like to take things apart, and we kind of do that now in working, which is cool. And I would say that's one of the things as you're growing up and you're considering your career, if you can really enjoy what you're doing as a career, it really won't feel like work at all. So those are some of the things that it takes and that I'm experiencing right now as a mechanical engineering manager. And I really appreciate the time. Hope you learned something from it. And good luck in your career. If you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.